Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the slight delay. We just wanted to make sure we had as many people as possible on. My name's Harry, and I will be one of the presenters for today. And also joining us is Raj, and he is our Infor Lawson Practice Director, and he'll be giving the majority of the presentation. So at this point, we'll just start right off the bat, and just give a very brief overview of our Infor practice. We are an Infor Alliance partner, and we have been working with the Lawson software and the Lawson Business Intelligence software for well over 10 years. We do a lot of LBI development work. We do ERP implementations and upgrades with the Lawson software. And we do an awful lot of report writing and training, and especially not only for the LBI software, but for the traditional healthcare applications such as Epic, Clarity. So just moving on at this point, what we're going to be doing is going through what we classify as an LBI Jumpstart, and it's geared for people who have the LBI software or are leaning to acquiring the LBI software. And we developed this a Jumpstart program based on a real situation that happened, and I'll be explaining that in a moment. But we're going to take you through what the problem was, what we show as a solution, and a mechanism of how we deliver this. And we're going to take you through all of this. So when I am defining the problem, I'm actually going to use a real client situation that happened. So I'm going to go through a quick case study. I was called on site and for a potential opportunity with Lawson Business Intelligence. We didn't know it was for Lawson Business Intelligence, but the client had a problem with reporting for their supply chain application within Lawson, the Lawson ERP application. They needed to retrieve information from Epic Clarity and combine that data with Lawson. And the problem was they were taking the data from Epic and taking the data with Lawson, putting it into spreadsheets, and it was becoming a nightmare, and they couldn't keep the two systems in sync. I then also found out that they had licensed the LBI software, but never implemented it. So they wanted to come up with a solution, and I was sitting there thinking about, is there a way for us to take advantage of the LBI application, which could combine the information from Epic and take the information from Lawson, put it into a data warehouse type of a situation, which Raj will explain in a moment, and then report on it easily. And one of the things that I've always hated was when you develop a piece of software and it's a throwaway solution. So what I wanted to do was make sure that we could start something small and deliver the reports that they needed, and then allow them to continue to use that as the base, and then continue to build and build and build until they get all the reporting requirements that they needed. So that was the problem. And what I'm going to do now is turn this over to Raj, and Raj is going to define the LBI components and then show how we develop the solution. Okay, Raj?
Yep, thank you, Harry. Hi, this is Raj here, and looking as Harry explained at the case study, when we showed them the client the LBI components, the Lawson Business Intelligence Solution, that the main components of the BI is all these 4 different points, 4 different components over there. The framework services, which stays on top of everything. That is the layer, the presentation layer, where all the users would go or log into and to run reports. Reporting services, smart notification, and viewpoint are individual components in BI itself, which stays behind the scenes of the framework services, where you have different components or different reports or notifications or cube as well to be created and have the data source for the reporting, and then that report is published in framework services, and then that is a centralized framework for all the users to log in and to get to their reports. So what this allows us to do, or the clients used to do, is that they have one place to go to access all their reports instead of logging into different systems and running the reports. And since it is a multi-user, everybody can run the report at the same time. Harry, can you go to the next slide, please? Now, here, this shows the LBI architecture, where on the top, all the laptops represent all the global users and different facilities, different organizations all over the country, all over the place. And we can have the centralized business intelligence server, which will be extracting data from all different types of systems that you have, and we can bring that into LBI server, and where we can create or develop our reports and distribute it from one place to everybody else. So as far as LBI Business Intelligence is concerned, the data source can be anything. When you look at the bottom, the system, whether it can be Lawson HR or payroll or supply chain, or it can be from any other third-party system that you have, like Epic or any other data warehouse system that is created from some other system that you already have installed in there. So LBI actually combines all this, brings them together, marries them together, where we can link all these data together one to another and create our reports. So BI actually allows us to create reports by taking data from one system and marrying it with the other system, so that you don't have to run two different reports from two different systems to compare data or look at data in a way. Harry, next slide. So the next question comes is, what are the other databases behind the scenes that LBI supports? The listed here are just a sample. It supports more than that, but again, these are the most commonly used databases that are used in the market today on most of the client sites, anywhere between from DB2 to flat files. Flat files, sometimes it is, or text files or Excel, it is used to bring in some extra data which is not, which they are not able to put into the system, kind of a thing, or kind of a lookup table sort of thing. But most commonly used is Oracle and SQL Server, and we can connect to that. LBI can connect to those databases readily. We're using readily ODBC connectivity, and create the reports and distribute it via BI, LBI from dashboard, framework services to all the users in the company. Next slide, Karen. The context of the distribution. So now the question comes, what are the different things that we can do with LBI? So with LBI, using Crystal reports, of course, we can develop all the reports from all the different systems that you have. Crystal reports on top of BI, it also can be used to develop reports from different systems. But again, instead of putting in different systems, we can put it in one place, the framework services in LBI, and for the distribution purposes, where all the reports from all the different systems can be published in one place, and they can go to, all the users can go to one single place to access all their reports. So we can also create interactive reports with Excelsius, which is very useful in a what-if scenario purposes. With Excelsius, what the development we can do is we can give users the ability to change or change the numbers using some arrow keys, so that they can see interactively what will be or what can be done for forecasting purposes or planning purposes and all those good stuff. Using cubes, behind the scene cubes, usually users use Excel to look at the data, and that Excel is in their local machine, but that cannot be distributed. So using the viewpoint, which is one of the components of LBI, we can develop the views on top of the cube, and that can be published and distributed via framework services. And all the users who have access to that view can be running the report, and any modification that is done, that is available for everyone readily as soon as it's done. Not only that, using the framework services, you can actually publish a lot of different stuff, internal memos or intranet or any other documentation that you want to be distributed, and make it available for the users on the dashboard right away. You publish that, you can update it, you can do everything that you need to let the users know it is available over there, all the notifications if you want to do, and all those good stuff. Okay? So any questions from anyone so far? Okay. Next slide. Next slide, Harry. Harry? Harry? Can you go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thought I did.
All right, okay.
It's my screen was frozen. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Okay. So, looking at the features, what are the different features and benefits of Lawson BI is it's very easy to use, and it also comes with a single sign-on feature where users can log into portal and they don't have to log in again to get into LBI. This framework services also can be made as a home page when the users log into their Lawson portal. So as soon as the users log into their login portal, their reports are readily available right on the portal screen itself. It's not that they have to log in 2 times to get into that. So low maintenance on the IT side as well. Reports can be scheduled to run at any given point of time, with any frequency that you need. That can be maintained in the reporting services, one of the components in BI, and you can also save the historical instance of the report. So when you want, you can go back and look at that historical report and not the runtime report right now. As for example, especially in finance side, I have seen in my experience that there are a lot of corrections being done in November for the transaction in June, July time, but at June, July time, what were the numbers? The numbers were readily available on the report that was run at July time frame, but those numbers will not be available in November time frame when they do make the corrections, right? So when you have saved these historical instances in BI itself, we can go back and look at those numbers, what they were, and compare it to what they are today. For the next couple of screens, we will be going through, I'll be showing some of those screenshots of the framework services as well. So this is the Lawson portal where we have made the framework services as the home screen, where you can see on the right hand side that big pie chart sort of thing. It's a circle where it's a BI in the central area and everybody else is looking at different reports that they want to, or they can be interactively talking to each other. But when you look at the underneath a human capital management, those are the links of all the reports. It's not Lawson screen or anything. It is Lawson reports, which is distributed by BI. So you just have to go and click like an URL, and it will open up a new window, and it will run the reports for you. You just provide the parameters that you need to, and it will give you the reports that you need. Next slide. So it can be also run as standalone application. It doesn't have to be a home page in Lawson BI. For most of the clients, there are users who have only access to only Lawson portal. There are users who have access only to the reports. So for those kind of users, this LBI will be a standalone application to run the reports, to do that analysis stuff and good stuff, and everything will be readily available. It's not only the reports, each different tab can be is a dashboard, and those dashboards can be created based on the user role or based on departments, and the reports underneath can be grouped accordingly to see however the client want to group it and distribute for the distribution purposes, or however you see it fit for the distribution purposes. The next link. So LBI modules and links. This is one of multiple boxes within the dashboard. Each module is also kind of a grouping purposes for organization purposes. We have created that, and each module will have that report published in that text box, in that box, and you can go and click on the link to run the report. One another feature in BI framework services is that we can make a configuration change saying if you click on the link, it doesn't have to open the report in a new window. It will open in the same window, like you have the patient AR by payer. That is the report that is giving you the details. When you click on any of the links below on the left-hand side, you get the report on your right-hand side module. So, next slide, Harry. So, as for the LBI demo, application demo itself, you can always visit www.youtube.com/SymphonyCorp, and you have LBI live demo over there, the application demo itself. If so far, if you have anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask.
Okay, Tom, are you monitoring the questions by chance?
Yeah, nobody has any questions, but if you do have one that comes up, just type it into the question box.
Okay, great. You know, we went through a number of slides, and you please feel free to take that link and go in and watch the demo. But what we did here at Symphony is we wanted to create a solution that get results in a short time. So this is what we created, this Jumpstart solution, and we start, and it's a 5-week process where we install the LBI software in 2 environments, development and production. We do a 2 to 3 day visioning session and finding out what your critical requirements are, and then we take 2 to 3 weeks to build reports and 2 weeks building the dashboards, and we will deliver a solution within that 5-week time. And then that solution will be a very viable delivery of which you can then, as an organization, continue to build on. So, you know, it's a low-cost solution, fixed price, so there's no scope creep, and that's what the 2 to 3 day vision session, we get those requirements down, and again, it's a fixed price so that you know what the budget is, and then at that point, you'll know enough that you can continue to build upon that environment, make it even more productive for your organization, or just use it as is. So if there's any questions, please type them in now, and Tom will read them for us. Tom, no questions?
No, there are no questions.
Okay. So with that, we'd like to thank you for attending, and if there are any questions, please take our email addresses and email either myself or Raj, and we'll be happy to get back in touch with you. Okay? And